Sorry for that little inconvenience. I am broadcasting from ground level this time. Just a little change of scenery here for me. And I want to welcome all our worldwide visitors, as well as our very important PTZ driver. That's Pan, Tilt, and Zoom driver. For those of you here at the North American Bear Center, I will occasionally be giving instructions to our PTZ driver. The camera that this individual is operating, and that individual is somewhere in the world right now, I'm not too sure where. Could be the Netherlands, could be Ireland, could be the great state of Illinois, I'm not really sure. But that camera is located on a pillar up by the observation deck. We have two bears out right at the moment, the little one and the smaller of the two working on the cube or block right now is our little Holly bear. For the PTZ driver, both bears are directly in the viewing area. The larger of the two bears is Lucky Bear. He's a 7-year-old male, and he is working on what we call the donut. Or it looks like a small tire, only it is tan in color. But we call it a donut. But no, it's not your typical jelly donut that you might eat for breakfast. In fact, we would never feed our bears a jelly donut. That's not on their menu. For those of you here at the Bear Center, you can see little Holly Bear. She's got some brown little sprouts of brown hair coming down from her front shoulders and down her spine. That's about the last of her winter coat. That's not something that's going to be there much longer, and that will be coming off as she walks through the trees and bushes here at our 2.5 acres here at the North American Bear Center. We have 2.5 acres that is completely wooden, except for the waterfalls and the pond that you see directly in front of you. Lucky Bear is working on his donut, and Lucky Bear, or Lucky, looks actually a little shaggy right now. And why is that? Well, he's also shedding his winter coat. For those of you on the deck, if you look at our larger bear, Lucky, that's out, you might see some tufts, a little mats of brown hair down his back. That is all winter coat again that's coming off. Someone asked me, well, it's summertime, why have they got their winter coats? Well, they're shedding them, and they'll be gone here in about, by the end of probably August, or maybe before. PTZ driver, Honey Bear's coming from the food shed. PTZ driver, Honey Bear's coming from the food shed. Just for observation of behavior, Lucky Bear has noticed Honey has appeared. And we've noticed some behavior with Lucky that I find fascinating.
No, you're fine.
Even
you're fine.
when Honey or Lucky
You're not in the way.
has not been down early like he was right now, he manages to insert himself between the two females. And I find that very interesting because Holly Bear and Lucky have become very good friends. They play together, and some of you were here about 3:15, 3:30. Lucky and Holly were having a good time playing. And Holly actually, I believe, sees Lucky as a big brother or someone that can protect her from Honey Bear, who trees her. Yep, I said he will tree her. Reasonably aggressively, not to hurt her, but to tell her who's the boss here at the North American Bear Center. Honey, our 18-year-old female, is the boss. She is our cinnamon phase black bear, and she is teaching Holly just where her place is in the 2.5 acres. I'm going to sign off for just a second and move locations a little closer to the bears. I'll be back in 1 minute. one back on again. For those of you that wonder why do I sign off and sign on again. Well, when I get in close proximity of some of our speakers, you get a shh, and you get something that really is not pleasant to your ears. So I sign off instead of letting you have that happen. Right now we have Honey Bear and our little Holly Bear about 25 feet apart. Holly Bear usually does not get that close to Honey unless Lucky Bear is near her. She definitely feels more confident when Lucky is with her, not so confident when he's not. If Lucky Bear leaves the scene and does something else, Holly Bear will more than likely, although she could prove me wrong, she's been a little more daring of late, but she tends to be a little more wary of Honey. I'm taking note of Honey right now. Honey is a little concerned. She's watching Holly Bear and Lucky. If you look at Honey Bear very closely, she is playing somewhat with the donut in the effort to get food out. But actually, she's getting a little more concerned with what the other two bears are doing. If Lucky continues to get closer, Honey Bear is more than likely going to say something. For bear behavior, it's really important to watch a couple things. Number one, where are the eyes? What's the overall, what's the head position? And what's the ear set? Honey Bear, our cinnamon-faced black bear can be very coy, and it can be very deceiving unless you watch her very carefully. And I just looked at her right now. She was eating a peanut, but she took a glance over at the other two. She's keeping an eye on both of them, and I will tell you that Lucky Bear knows it. If you notice during the last 5 to 7 minutes, Lucky and Holly have been very close together, and both of them are avoiding Honey. Honey Bear will also shag Lucky Bear. She's been known to do that. In fact, she has done it just here the other day. Lucky Bear stood up to her, got on his back legs, opened his... Well, Lucky didn't like something Holly did, and I didn't see what it was. Little Holly Bear is very vocal. You just heard that, at least on the deck. She is the most vocal of the four. Actually, I just heard her somewhat moan. I took that as a moan. I could be wrong. Holly Bear wants the food. Lucky's not so sure he wants to share it right now. What you just saw there was food. Lucky wants it. He told her no, you're not getting it. That's what that was about. That happens in the wild. That's nothing new. That's normal bear behavior. In the wild, if there was a food patch or maybe a patch of blueberries or something, where a larger animal, a larger bear like Lucky wanted it, didn't want a little yearling around, they'd shag them off. And then more than likely the yearling would spend a little time up a tree, just waiting out the larger bear in hopes that the larger bear would leave so they could get the scraps or whatever's left of the blueberry patch. Of course, we're not throwing out blueberries, we're actually throwing out peanuts, but the concept's the same. Lucky wanted them and told her no. And she vocalized her displeasure, but Lucky got his way. exactly what would happen in the wild. I got a question from the deck. A gentleman wants to know, do our bears eat the chipmunks? We've never observed that at all, so the answer from our observation is no. I can't validate what happened maybe in the woods, but I believe the answer is no, we've never seen it. And chipmunks and squirrels have a great life here at the Bear Center. There's always food, and I always call them the cleanup crew. So some of our chipmunks are pretty good size, the chipmunks, and so are our squirrels. They have a pretty good life here.
You're fine.
I have seen a chipmunk go nose to nose with one of our bears, friendly, and actually eating. It looks like Lucky Bear and Holly Bear have worked out their differences. Holly's decided to go back to her cube and leave Lucky alone. And of course, Honey Bear over here, she's happier than heck that those two are over there and she's over here with her donut. She's happy and doesn't have to shag anybody away. I talked about shedding. Honey Bear is a beautiful colored cinnamon phase black bear. And for those of you that can see her, her legs and her face are a little on the darker brown side. But around her back, down her spine, it's quite light. And that's going to be shedding here in the next month or two. So she's not really two-tone brown. She really is going to be like a Hershey's chocolate bar. And I bet you kids know what a Hershey's chocolate bar is. A Hershey's chocolate bar is what she's going to look like when she goes into denning. I want to thank everybody for coming to the North American Bear Center today.